Hey guys, YouTube 100 here. Alright, and now here I am with a review for another TV Halloween special. And now here I am with a review for Doug's Halloween Adventure. So, yeah, this was an episode of the Nickelodeon Doug series. Yeah, this was like the fourth episode in the last season of Nickelodeon's Doug series. Yeah, I know that the Disney Doug also had a Halloween special. What was it called? The Vampire Caper or something like that. Yeah, but of course, like Disney's Doug, like a lot of people have really hated on. I decided to like go with the series that people actually do love. So yeah, I decided to review the one for the Nickelodeon series. Yeah, and quite frankly, I don't actually remember ever watching this special. Well, back in the day when like Doug was always on Nickelodeon. So yeah, I don't actually remember ever watching this as a kid. So yeah, so it was kind of like a whole fresh and new thing when I just watched it to make this review. Yeah, but overall, I do think that this is a pretty good special. I did think that it was like a kind of like a good Halloween type of tone for this special. Yeah, this one, like this was like a whole like a half hour, a full length of special for the show. Oh, and yeah, did think that overall this was pretty good. Yeah, what this special is really about is uh there's a new spooky kind of ride opening at the amusement park in Bluffington, Funky Town that's opening on Halloween. And so yeah, Skeeter decides he wants to go check it out. Yeah, you know Doug. Yeah, Doug and his friend Skeeter. Yeah, Skeeter wants to go check this place out, but Doug is really reluctant to do it because yeah, he like is kind of like nervous about it. Yeah, but yeah, he is like still does agree to go with Skeeter. Yeah, yeah, and then and like just right as they're about to go onto the ride, like the ride just like ends up closing. But then of course like the bully of the show, Roger, then just like convinces them to go on the ride anyway. But once they do, they just end up like getting like scared, just like seeing a bunch of scary stuff. And Roger like ends up like getting separated from them. And yeah, Roger just has this whole ruse to scare Doug and Skeeter. And then once Doug and Skeeter then find out, they then decide to get Roger back and scare him. And that's pretty much what the premise of this special is. So yeah, and I've never really actually talked about the show Doug before in any prior videos I made, so I guess I'll talk a little bit about Doug. So yeah, I didn't like the Doug series. Those series, I know that a lot of people, like I was just saying, a lot of people that really do love the Nickelodeon series really did like hate on the Disney series, but I really wasn't like didn't really hate the Disney series all that much. But I would agree that the Nickelodeon series was definitely the better one. Yeah, I really did like this one. I mean, it seemed like it was just had a very calm tone compared to like other shows that were on Nickelodeon at the time. And like shows like crazy shows like Ren and Stimpy and Avio Monsters and Rocko's Modern Life and ones like that. I mean, yeah, there were like some more calmer ones as well, like Hey Arnold and Rugrats and stuff. But yeah, Doug was like one of the ones that had the especially calmer tone of a lot of the shows that aired on Nick at the time. And yeah, I did like the Doug series a lot. Of course, like you had the main character Doug and his friend Skeeter, as I've already said, and the school bully Roger, and he has like some friends along with him that are kind of like a group that really do bully or like give the other kids a hard time. Of course, there's Doug's girlfriend, yeah, like the girl that he likes, Patty, and yeah, just yeah, and then there's like other characters in this in the series as well. There's like Chalky and Connie, and there's BB, and of course like BB's father is Bill Bluff, who's like a very popular person in Bluffington. And there's of course like Doug's parent and his sister Judy, and of course Doug's dog Porkchop, and Doug's neighbors are the Dinks, Mr. Dink and Tip and Mrs. Dink, Tippy, who like ended up becoming the mayor in the Disney series. Yeah, so yeah, it did have like a big cast of characters, and of course, like this show is also known for like all of the characters like just being different colors, which was kind of a clever idea. Yeah, so yeah, this show like was known for like doing a lot of stuff, and yeah, I did enjoy watching the show a lot. And of course, I could have that catchy theme song. Of course, Nostalgia Critic absolutely hates this show because apparently, well, of course, like his name actually is Doug, and so I guess like he was teased about the show when he was a kid. So yeah, he hates it. But yeah, people like me who actually did grow up watching the show, oh, that weren't named Doug, do love the show a lot. So yeah, this show it is good. Yeah. Okay, but anyway, getting into this special, yeah, it is like a pretty good special overall. Like I said, it does have like a good type of Halloween spooky kind of a tone to it, and I do think that it is a pretty good special. If you do like Doug, and if you've never seen the special before, I would probably recommend it. And it's yeah, so yeah, I guess I'll just go over like uh the whole plot of this special. Yeah. So the episode opens up with Skeeter just telling a ghost story about how there was a man named Baron von Heckelhaffer that ended up falling in love with a woman, and they ended up like building a huge mansion, 17 years. But after their marriage, like Baron brought his next wife into the house, and then he ended up just falling. And like Skeeter puts it as Baron forgot to build a floor when he built the mansion, so yeah, he ended up like falling and down through where the floor was supposed to be. And Skeeter was talking about that ever since the demise, the house has become cursed, and people had the temerity to enter it, and those people who did never stay for too long, which is like a euphemism for their deaths. And then after like there's an anonymous person that's wearing like just a hood, he decided to like enhance the creation of the house and built it as a ride in the amusement park Funky Town, which is now like referred to as Bloodstone Manor. Yeah. And then yeah, when Skeeter then was telling Doug about it, showing him the grand opening of the ride on Halloween night, Doug was very reluctant to go, but yeah, he agreed to while struggling his fear. Yeah. Yeah. And then then of course like Doug and Skeeter like dressed up for Halloween, of course, because apparently like the people get let in free that dress up in a costume. So yeah, Skeeter was like dressed up as some type of spaceship, while Doug was like dressing up as Race Canyon, who I guess is like a knockoff of Indiana Jones. Like, well, he's based on Indiana Jones. Yeah. Yeah. And then yeah, when Doug was like watching a commercial of the ride on TV with Judy, like Doug is like starting to become like nervous, and yeah, then Doug and Skeeter then like once they started to go out, they first like started to go trick or treating, but then yeah, Roger and his friends then and like ended up like coming around and approaching Doug and Skeeter, and then they first like tried to get a Doug to TP Mr. Bone's house. Yeah, this is Mr. Bone. Yeah, I haven't mentioned him yet. Yeah, if you've watched the show, you know Mr. Bone. He's the mean vice principal. Yeah, and so yeah, Roger and his pals were trying to get Doug and Skeeter to TP Mr. Bone's house, but they refused to do so. And then as Skeeter like saw like the bus that was going to Funky Town, and as Doug and Skeeter were chasing after, Doug was like trying to stall him, just saying that he's not Race Canyon because he doesn't have any guts. And then they end up missing the bus. And then as the bus took off, Doug's like Race Canyon hat ended up blowing off. Yeah, but then and Patty and her dad had then like came across Doug and Skeeter. They were on their way to a costume party, but then and they then decided to drive a Doug and Heater to Funky Town to go on the ride, and then once they arrived at Funky Town, yeah, Patty was just saying that she was very impressed with Doug and Skeeter riding Bloodstone Manor, and she said she would never go on it after what supposedly happened to two guys that uh, had apparently the only thing that came out after they rode the ride were both pairs of shoes. So yeah, Patty was saying that Skeeter was the one that actually told her that. Yeah, and then as Doug and Skeeter were like in line for the ride, the the ride ended up being closed as like the park was getting ready to close, but there was still like 15 minutes left. But then and it was just when Doug and Skeeter were the next ones in line for it. Hart and Roger also showed up, but then after the ride supposedly closed, the doors for the ride then just opened back up, and then Roger convinced Doug and Skeeter to go in. And since there's 15 minutes left before the park actually closes, and then when Doug, Skeeter, and Roger then and entered the house, they then just saw how haunted it was. They just saw a hooded hoodlum from a picture on the wall that had a trap door for them by on the floor, and then it revealed the death pit, and then a door just slid towards them, and then and as the door was just making its way toward the edge of the pit, then Doug then discovered that the uh, the hood pit or the death pit were just had a glass floor, but then the fireplace then opened up and revealed the hood guy again, and then he told them that they have crossed the flesh hold of death right before disappearing. And then, Doug, Skeeter, and Roger then went through the fireplace and into the dining room where the hooded guy was again. And, and as they were sitting down at the table expecting a meal, the trays he's that were on the table contained salad, which was apparently alive, and they just were strapped to their chairs. And then the chairs just ended up sliding down to a secret slide, and they hop into a cart on a roller coaster track, and then it just ended up running on its own. But then the ride then suddenly just stopped right in the middle of the track, and then Skeeter then discovered that it's now time for the park to actually close, and so then the three of them were then supposedly trapped inside. But Skeeter saw that there was a stairway that led somewhere down to the bottom. And then Doug went along with Skeeter, but Roger just ended up staying put where he was. As Doug and Skeeter were then trying to find their way out, Skeeter then just saw a phone and was trying to dial, but it just saw that the phone was just a ride activator, really. And then as they saw the hood guy again, they tried to hop on to the moving cart to the ride, but then they just saw Roger's boots were inside and heard Roger crying for help. And as Doug and Skeeter tried to find Roger to save him, they then just dug up hole, and then Doug remembered thought that it was the same thing as the bottomless pit had with this hole. But then as he walked over it, he then discovered that it was an actual pit, and both Doug and Skeeter fell into it, and then it just ended up being a secret generator room, and then they saw the hooded guy again, and the hooded guy was just ordering them to get out. But when Doug heard Roger's voice again saying, "Come on this way," Doug then stood up to the hooded guy and told him that they're not leaving without Roger, and the hooded guy just showed them to the entrance of a secret room inside of a tomb. And then as they walked in the room, it just showed that there were a bunch of video cameras, and then it actually showed video footage of Roger, and it showed that Roger was actually behind this whole thing, and he was never in trouble. He just intentionally put his shoes in that cart, and he was just standing to the side where Doug and Skeeter couldn't actually see him when he was making the cries for help. Oh yeah, and then Doug and Skeeter then like worked alongside the hooded guy to get Roger back. And so then Doug and Skeeter then used the some cameras in the room to like pose as ghosts, and they threaten Roger and his friends that if they don't clean up the toilet paper they threw at the houses houses, yeah. And then yeah, they just threatened them with that, and the hooded guy then appeared and then just scared them away. And then as Doug and Skeeter walked out of the park with the hooded guy then gave Doug his Race Canyon hat back. And then Doug then just then and yeah, Doug then just asked who the hooded guy really was, and then yeah, he actually then introduced himself as Baron von Heckelhofer, and then just disappeared here magically. Yeah. Then then just ended with Doug and Skeeter then just like walking off back home, and yeah, that's how it ended. So and yeah, also like the street that they're on is called it's called the Vine Street, and yeah, this name is actually who's he was like for Leavenworth, Kansas, and Hayes, Kansas, and it's also the name Elm Street. So yeah, that's kind of like an interesting thing. Vine Street used as the same name for Leavenworth, Earth, and Hayes, and so was the name called Elm Street. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting as well. So yeah, all right. So yeah, so that's pretty much the Doug's Halloween Adventure special. So yeah, it is like an entertaining full length Halloween episode of the show. So yeah, like I said, if you haven't seen it before, I think it is worth a watch. I think you'll get enjoyment out of it, especially like if you do like Doug, because yeah, it really does give like a darker, more creepy a feel to this than like that Rugrats Candy Bar Creep Show episode did, and some like other Halloween specials that I've seen that are really made for kids as well. So yeah, I do think that it is worth a watch at least. So if you haven't seen it before, check it out. All right, and I guess that's all I can really say about it. So yeah, all right. So this is my review of Doug's Halloween Adventure. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.